Oh, hey, aloha. How you doing? Welcome to Hibachi Talk. I'm Gordo the Tech Czar. I'm here with my good old buddy and co-host, and the security guy.
Aloha.
Hi, aloha.
Welcome,
How you
brother.
doing, bud?
Hello,
hey,
everybody.
Why don't you pull up a chair, grab yourself a libation, and sit down. We're going to spend the next 45 minutes talking about tech and some of the things that have been happening around town and around the world, as a matter of fact. Our guest today is Jeff Hong. Jeff Hong is big guy in the tech guy in town. He's been with Microsoft.
CTO, yeah?
Yeah, CTO, Chief Technology Officer with Techmania, or Techmana, I should say.
Techmana.
Techmana, and he's done a lot of work down at the Ledge this year in getting some legislation passed with regards to the non-compete clause.
Awesome.
Which is going to help to grow the tech industry and not have it so constrained. So we'll be talking with him and get some insight on what it was like to work his way through the maze of the legislature.
Oh,
yeah, you know how much
awesome.
fun that is. So been a lot of good stuff happening this week. So kind of for you, congratulations. I understand you got your 8A.
My wife got our 8A.
Your wife got your 8A.
I gotta give credit where credit's
so
due.
just from a technology business perspective. So what is an 8A?
It's just a set-aside classification for federal government contracting purposes. It allows the federal government to purchase products or services from us a little bit easier. They have set-aside mandates that they like to get money to small business where, as long as you have the past performance record and things like that, where that money makes sense. And instead of letting the Lockheed Martins of the world and the General Dynamics of the world soak it up, those guys, they have mandates that they try to give money to small business to help promote, and help small business grow. Contracts that are let out, or money when there's products or services needed, contracting officers can set aside money for 8A specifically, and they can get uncompeted. They can give out uncompeted awards.
Wow.
Up to I think about $4 million for 8A set aside. So we have a lot of folks that want to procure services from IST, and oftentimes we're difficult to get the money to.
Right.
It's a laborious process for the contracting officer, where with the 8A set aside, they'll be able to get to us a lot easier.
So this is a real opportunity for the small businesses in Hawaii. If you're a small woman-owned business, or
Hawaiian-owned.
Hawaiian-owned, woman-owned small business. So you can go through these processes. Did you work with the small business SBA? Did they help you with this?
Christine did. The write-up process took us months. I mean, you can hire someone to do it, or you can do it yourself. Christine wrote it. I helped edit on lots of it. I mean, it was a long process. And then once the application goes in, it can take 8 or 9 months to get through it. So it's for us, it was about a 5-month process once we submitted, and definitely a few months of working on the write-ups and all the stuff.
So you go through this. I mean, this is good. This is good stuff if you've got a small business you want to start, or you've started, and you're trying to get federal government contracts and those revenue streams. And these are small contracts in the federal government space, right? When you talk $4 million, for them, that's like a rounding error.
Oh yeah, sure. We're typically part of big MilCon projects where a general contractor gets $50 million to build a building, and we'll do $100,000 worth of security work in that building.
Right.
But then afterwards, a year later, the customer wants to give us like a service contract for $20,000 a year, and it's hard for them to do that without a lot of work. Whereas with the 8A, they can just give that money to an 8A contractor, as long as you're again have the past performance records. There's a lot of stuff that goes into applying. You're well vetted before you get into this program, and it only lasts 9 years.
It only lasts 9 years.
Yeah.
But you got an opportunity there, and also if you make too much money over the course of that period of time.
Oh yes,
you can.
Yeah. So my wife is our 8A entity as a woman-owned. She's a 51% stockholder in our company, and her net worth cannot exceed $250,000, not counting your home or the business.
Okay.
So it's not like you can start taking money out
well,
of things.
now
So
all that cash that she's walking around with.
Sure. Yeah, I think it was, the idea is really to grow the business itself. So that's why they want you to keep that money in there. You're not supposed to just go, if you start earning money, buy yourself cars and planes or whatever that people do. I have no idea.
Private jet and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure.
Well, this is good. This is really good news. Again, locally owned company, you get your 8A, and then hopefully you'll get some business down the pipeline on it.
Yeah, and set aside for women-owned is fairly new. It's been around several years now, but it wasn't always a category that you could apply in. So for her, she had to show how she's been discriminated against as a woman in our particular industry. And we've talked about that before, how there's not a lot of women in the security business, even in the technology space in general.
Yeah, you're looking at, like we said, 35%, or less than 35% of the career individuals in tech are women.
Sure.
So there's another incentive to give them an opportunity to come into this space.
In the physical security space of the integrators that we know on the mainland, which we're in a large buying group of those, there's only one other woman-owned of those hundreds. and that's because her husband who started died. And so the wife kept it after his death. So, I mean, it's very rare. So she is, she experienced a lot of prejudice when she was in, her master's is in IT, but everyone in the class was a guy.
Right.
And things like that. So she had a lot of this documentation had to go into the write-up for the 8A process.
Okay.
You have to show how you've been discriminated against socially and economically.
Okay, wow, that's pretty cool. So yeah, another small business that we do partnering with is an 8A.
Oh, yeah.
And so she's actually picked up some federal contracts now, and is again locally owned business. She's opened up a office in Baltimore, and she's about to open up an office somewhere in Asia.
Sure.
So not bad,
Awesome.
right? So local started, and now she's expanding out into this. I think her employee count's way up there now as well. So this is really kind of neat stuff. And
It is, and if you don't know about it, I mean, it's definitely something the SBA can help. They were a great help to us. Definitely lean on the SBA, go meet those folks. If you're in small business in this town, technology business, whatever business you're in, you want to leverage these types of programs. You need to know about them and understand how they could benefit you possibly depending on what your business is. They're out there.
Cool. So the other thing that we probably should take a look today, and we always do, got one tech job, right?
Let's see what
and
we
since
got.
you got 8A, so you got one tech job. so we go around and so we got this one sent to us. Got one tech job. So this is a beauty. I like this one, man. So how's this for a living?
Well, you hired him to be a ladder?
He's the ladder. The guy on the far left, the guy on the left side is so. Got one tech job, and he's going to be propping that up for who knows how long. So there you go, gang. If you don't want to get into tech, there's all kinds of opportunities out there. Right?
I think OSHA might have a little issue with that one there, but
I don't know. He's got shoes on. he's got his construction boots on. He's all set. Isn't that cool? Got one tech job. So again, thanks for sending those in to us on our Hibachi Talk at Outlook.com. So thank you for getting those in. So security minute, anything happening in that side? I know that Dark Code got raided today. So Dark Code is a organization that sends out bots and do denial of services attacks and actually train people to be hackers and such. So they got nailed by the FBI. 28 of them got arrested this week. Yay! I was
at Infraguard this week, and actually we had a cyber presentation in there. One of the guys that works on these types of cases, and this I don't know if we have that graphic that Gordo sent in, or if we've got that, but these teams that do this are highly successful. This is happening now. It's been happening for a long time. These guys are very successful, and if you see that stuff at the top there, that phishing site, in particular, the phishing and the spear phishing, they'll get you to open something, they'll to click on an email that looks legitimate, and then you're gonna click a link because you think it's from someone inside your organization, and that's gonna install some malware, and that malware is gonna sit there and monitor all the things that you do. It's gonna be checking your password. It's gonna be recording and sending all that information back to them, and this is the real world of how this works,
So this is a message I want to get across to the viewers, is that you think, maybe I get some spam and a little bit of spyware or a little antivirus. If they commandeer your machine, which they can do, and you won't even know it, your machine can become a perpetrator of a crime.
Oh, definitely. That's what they're using it for.
That's what they do. They sell this machine information can get sold to someone else for $50. So someone will pay $50 to now have access to your machine so they can perpetrate a crime. Your machine could become a child pornography server, and you wouldn't even know it.
Sure.
Or a gateway to that.
They're using it to pass, so they like to build, they typically use them for other larger attacks. If they build bot networks like these guys do, if they can get 1 million machines to then do DDoS attacks on certain other companies. Accounts. Yeah, they're denying services to another organization while they're doing something else. So they're trying to get that organization's attention focused on some aspect. Someday we'll have to show Norse, and that shows all the live attacks going on.
We'll show that. So just again, I want to encourage our viewers. Make sure you keep your patches current. You keep your machine up to speed. Hopefully you're not running XP anymore, and if you are, you better get that machine off the network. Because you very well could be just a contributor to what's going on.
You are.
It's part of. It's like you drive your car and you drive it carefully and you make sure it's, maintained and
Maintained.
serviced and so on. You need to do this with the technology that's happening. So other stuff happening in town, so not in town, but in the tech world is kind of neat. So Apple has announced the new range of iPods. So
They're not
it's
done?
going to be interesting. Now it's got a whole range of iPods that are everything but a phone. So which is what I'm calling it. It's everything but a phone. It's got Wi-Fi. It's got a camera. It's got all those kinds of things. But it's your new iPod. So they announced those. Google, another one today was kind of cool. They announced yesterday. You're going to start seeing on your Google account a buy button where you actually, if you want to, how you get the advertising up on the side, you can actually have a button that will say buy, and you can click on it, and you'll be able to buy right from Google
Yep.
to that particular product. Facebook did the same this week. So you're going to see buy buttons now showing up on Facebook. So watch this whole industry as we just continue to see it evolving. So Netflix shares went up 11% this week.
Big time.
Yay! So that and they had 3.3 million new subscribers. So again, the whole TV industry is going like this. Which doesn't really help our show, but TV industry is going like this.
Well, we're not on TV.
Yeah, that's true. And going like this, and then you've got all the the Netflixes and everything else. Thank goodness YouTube.
Streaming services,
We're on
yeah.
YouTube, so I'll just go Hibachi Talk on YouTube,
Yeah.
and you can see our continuing array of fine shows. So that's happening. The dark guys, Uber got fined $7.3 million this week.
Yeah, what was that for?
So state of California wants their data.
Oh.
So we've talked about this before, business analytics and data.
Sure.
So state of California requested their data, and they went, no, you can't have it.
And so they fined them.
So they fined them 7.3. So they're in appeal right now on this
Sure.
one. So here's an interesting thing. The largest hotel company in the world is not a hotel. It's vacation rental by owner.
Oh, VRBO?
VRBO. The largest,
Really?
The largest transportation company in the world is not a transportation company. It's Uber's.
Is it?
So
They
now
have that many
we're
wow.
creating industries without brick and mortar, so per se, right? All these industries are being created within the World Wide Web.
Sort of virtual service industries.
Virtual service
Sure.
industry. So really kind of neat stuff. eBay is going to sell off one of their portions, their enterprise business, for between $900 million and $1 billion. So I know I put my bid in, but they didn't look at it. So
Wow.
that was happening. So interesting things that are happening in the market. The other thing which is going to be interesting is iPhone's going to start selling, or Apple's going to start selling iPhones in Iran.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They did. I didn't know that they didn't.
Well, no, because of the embargo that was on, right?
Oh, I
So
think
now
we're
with
allowed,
everything,
okay.
so now they're going to go into Iran, and I'm thinking, are they going to nuclear power these things? Because of all the big debate over there. So a lot happened in the tech industry this year. So now the other thing that you sent was we've talked about cameras, right? So one of the things when we showed that slide was that PC. They can be commandeered to be camera gateways, so people can go and look at your personal cameras and so on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you found a great way to secure your camera system. I think Zuri can bring up a picture that you sent me. That this is one way of making sure that your camera's doing the right thing, and as you have your camera watching the camera.
Your camera. This is maddening. I wanted to talk about this because this is something we run across so frequently, and it's this is it's sort of an example, but what we come across is the fact that people get a surveillance system installed, but then they never reference the images. They just presume that everything is running fine, and then they'll get an incident, and then they'll realize that someone has taken like this picture and turned the cameras away from what they're supposed to be watching. And oftentimes that gets done prior to someone doing something bad. So the point I wanted to make, and it's critical that you actually go look at these images on a daily basis. When you've got a surveillance system installed, you want to have a reference image there, and you want to compare the image during your say at noon every day. Go take a look and a comparison to your reference images to make sure that they're capturing what they're supposed to capture. And then also at night, if there's a nighttime field of view, you want to check that as well. And also around sundown, because sometimes cameras get interference from the sunlight based on the time of year. So if you've got cameras that are subject to that, they may have to be moved a few degrees or changed a little bit, depending on the time of year. And it's super common that these owners have something installed like this, but they're not taking this step to make sure that they're getting the coverage that they've paid for. So, if you've got a system, you got to do a little maintenance with it. You got to make sure you're on it on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff that's happening out there.
It's super common.
Yep. So you got that happening. So I've got a little bit of good news too that happened on me.
Right on.
I didn't get my 8A.
Okay.
But I became, you ready for this drum roll? I became a great-grandfather.
Nice,
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Underline the word great. Yeah, I'm going to be the coolest great-grandfather in the face of the earth. So I became a great-grandfather yesterday. I mean, my great-grandson just came in.
Four
into this world. Generations. Yeah, this is pretty scary stuff, man. So got that happening.
You're kind of too young to be a great-grandfather,
I was prompting you for that, to give me that plug. So I love announcing to everybody that I'm now a great-grandfather.
Wow.
And they look at me and I go, no.
What's your great-grandson's name?
Cruz, Kruze.
Nice.
And I can
like
just
that,
see as it gets older, he's gonna be cruising for a bruising.
I like that.
He doesn't behave himself.
He's gonna be cruising in your
Yeah.
your Corvette.
So I'm a little aglow. It's a really it's a different kind of feeling. What can I say? It's like, you've been a parent, you know that, and you're a parent. You go to grandparent. That's kind of one thing, but then the great one is like, well, it's going to be interesting.
Downstream a ways.
Downstream away.
That's a whole new kind of fun.
So, but it's going to be kind of a
good
neat
for
thing.
you.
So we got all this kind of cool stuff happening and going on in the industry in town. So what else has been happening in your world? Anything new besides you're making a lot of money?
No, I'm still a million short of my first million. But we're having fun with the nurse call. So I've been, learning the healthcare systems has been interesting. Our group's excited to bring some of these systems to Hawaii. We've got some opportunities that are out there that are germinating. And for me, it's a whole new way to bring technology into a space that, before, as Carl sort of mentioned, nurse call used to be a button. You push a button and it rings a bell. But today, it's really more about workflow and the patient experience, that they're looking for and improving upon that, and it's all done with technology. And of course, it's really sort of data mining, when you're tracking how long it takes from the time you push the button to the time that they talk to you and say, yes, may I help you, to the time they actually get to the room, and keeping up with all those metrics. All that data is really what this business has become.
So we're all back to this, the data mining, dating mining, well, that too, but data mining and all the analytics around that. So that you've got this kind of stuff happening and so on. So anyway, I think I got to get ready to head over to take my break.
I got to find Angus,
and I will be heading down to the Lua. We'll go grab Angus. He's got a cool new look. Got to check Angus. Is that a cool new look?
Did he shave?
Yeah, right. So we'll get Angus up here. We'll take a break. We'll back in just a few, but we'll see you back.
Aloha, my name is PJ and I'm the host of Hawaii Sports Update. I am very interested in local sports and that's why I host the Hawaii Sports Update show. I bring in guests from Hawaii, I bring in guests from UH, I bring in guests from the community, I bring in big names, I bring in small names, I bring in all names that are community related and doing positive things, sports related in the community. Come join me every Tuesday at 1 p.m. here on Hawaii Sports Update. You can also join me on my golf tournament, the first annual PJ Sports Radio Show golf tournament. It's going to be held at Coral Creek. For any information, go to ThinkTech, Hawaii, INC, and friend us. The PayPal and a summary of the event will be right there available for you. And don't forget to tweet us.
Aloha, my name is Miley Scarpino and I'm the host of the Empower Hour. If you're interested in health, nutrition, fitness, here on the island of Oahu, want to learn more about places to train at or different trainers available, then watch my show on Fridays at 3. We have a great time and I hope that you'll come join us. Much aloha, now go get swole!
Aloha, my name is Jim Sean and I'm host of a show called Education Movers, Shakers, and Reformers. Each week, live streaming at noon on ThinkTech Hawaii, we interview people who have special insights into education, from early education through K-12, all the way through higher education and beyond. Both public and private are areas we're interested in. We dig deeper, we try to find out what it's really like to be involved in making change, advocating for it, how you reform, what people's philosophies are in reforming it. As I said, we're live streaming every Wednesday at noon on ThinkTech Hawaii. And later on, you can find these interviews on YouTube and on the Hawaii Educational Policy Center website. We hope you join us as many times as possible. Aloha.
Hi, I'm Ethan Allen. I host Likeable Science on ThinkTech Hawaii, and I do this because I care about science literacy in Hawaii. I want to spread the understanding that science is a vital and interesting part of everyone's life. I want to make sure the broadest possible spectrum of people understand the beauty and the value of science and realize that science plays out each and every day of their lives. I want you to understand that science is fun. So we bring onto this show each week guests who are scientists, from astronomers to zoologists, and we talk about what they do and how they do it. But most importantly, we talk about why you should care about their work, why you should see that their work has value and impact on your life. So I hope you'll join us Fridays, 1 p.m. here on ThinkTech Hawaii. You can watch us via live stream. You can watch us recorded on Olelo, and you can see us each week. We hope you'll join us.
Aloha, my name is Josh Green. I'm a senator from the Big Island. I work in the ER there. But on Tuesday afternoons, I get to come and spend 45 minutes to an hour with Jay Fidel and the ThinkTech staff. They're terrific professionals. They help us to bring some of the leading cutting-edge topics here across our state to you. So you can join us at our show on healthcare in Hawaii to talk with leaders from across all the spectrum of health in our state, or you can join us for any other show where we talk about economic development or tourism or some really eclectic programs too. So really, we'd love to see you here on our show. Thanks for joining us and thanks for supporting us.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome back to Hibachi Talk. We found Angus on the beach, and I think there's a little more of him than there was before. Angus, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, you doing that, Drew?
All right, man.
Hey, what do you think of my new hairstyle?
I think you missed the barber.
Hey, we got the new hairstyle going here. I was told I didn't look geeky enough.
Right
So,
on.
and I make more money. I make $10 more an hour just from having a ponytail.
Right on.
Yeah, the tech business is really cool.
I
Just
like
gotta
it.
love it.
I like it.
Yeah, it's great. It's really great. When I got this hair and it looks really good, and Lassie's liking it a lot more. So I told Gordo to draw some rabbits on his head, because from a distance it looked like hairs. Anyway,
one.
that's what we got going on. Anyway, Drew, last week I had that new chatterer for your phone, right?
Yeah.
It was the one you breathe into. But I found one that's for real. This is not for real one. This is no makeup. You can go buy it online. I think Zuni's going to be able to show a picture up there. So, when you're out camping, you're not near any electricity. And if your battery runs down, you're really stuck. But guess what? You can charge your battery with a can of sterno. You put the sterno in the boiling water. The boiling water creates the energy source, and you can use it to charge the battery on your phone.
Nice.
Is that really cool or what?
That's like a backpack item. I like it.
It's a really cool thing. So you can be making your tea, and at the same time you can be charging your battery. It's just awesome. Just terrific. You get 2 charges from 1 can of sterno.
Good find.
Yeah, good find. Get that. And you know what? Us Scots, we always like to know the money on this wee lad. So it's $99. $99, not too bad.
Everything you find is like $99, man.
Well,
What's up with
that's
that?
how it is.
Is that
right?
your budget?
$99 is my budget. Get it go over $99. That's
job.
what it's going to be. Anyway, that's my tech for this week. We'll find something else new and exciting next week. So anyway, just remember, everybody, let your wind gauge free whatever you be, and aloha.
Right on. Thanks, Angus. Wow, how's that? I think I need one of those. I could use that camper, man. That's pretty interesting. You're that, or you'd like to do something solar, right? But having a little sterno fuel cooker along with it is pretty nice. Well, today we're going to talk about the non-compete legislation that just came down for technology workers. I think Governor Ige signed it, started sometime in July. Jeff Hong's here from Techmania, the CTO. Jeff, welcome.
Oh.
Nice to have
Hey,
you,
welcome.
man. Aloha.
Jeff,
Thanks.
nice to see you. Nice red shirt, too.
Oh,
Very
thank you.
cool. So we're going to talk about the non-compete legislation in a sec, but what we like to do is we like to personalize
We
our
like to
guests.
figure out how you
and
got
figure
here.
out what you're here, why you're here, why you're doing what you're doing, because you've got a pretty long and successful career in this tech industry. And so, so where did you go to school? Where'd you grow up? How'd you start in this thing?
I was born here in Hawaii. I'm Kaiser High School, public school graduate.
Yay.
All right. Did some coursework at UH, but got my undergraduate degree from a place called Harvey Mudd College in Claremont, a very nerd-centric school.
I heard about Harvey Mudd.
Yeah. So there I did a stint in the Army and did some work with a few startups, and then ended up working at Microsoft for a bit.
Yeah, so now how long were you at Microsoft? You were there for a while.
19 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you said a bit, but I think you said you were there. You were there through a lot of transitions and so
Yeah,
on.
this was it was a fun time, and I got an opportunity to convince my corporate masters that we should have an office in Hawaii. So I got a chance to open the Microsoft office here in Hawaii.
So you opened that here, and so you've been doing it ever since. Just but you're not with Microsoft anymore.
No, I'm not. I have my own company, Techmania. So we do primarily travel industry software. So we've been helping out some of the local companies here. We've just done a lot of work with Hawaiian Airlines on the new beta site, so beta.hawaiianairlines.com. It's brand new.
I was using it just last week.
All right, great. And I hope you liked it.
I did. I got some suggestions too. We can talk about that after.
Okay.
Some things I'd like to have added to it. But
So
yeah.
what did you do at Microsoft when you were there?
So I ran the consulting group here in Hawaii.
Okay.
And so that entailed actually building it up and providing services to all of the major companies that had Microsoft stacked technology.
Sure, because you spanned from 19 years, so you spanned from when, 95 or prior?
93.
From 93 forward,
Yeah.
right on. So I don't, no, we've had a few guys that we know. Brian Tuskin from the security group, and Wade Roughton, who's up there on the Office project, I think.
Oh, okay.
He was met him out here back in the mid-90s. He was working at Sentinel and then went to Microsoft.
Yeah.
So
So, this is a
Cool ties
good example when we talk about the tech industry in Hawaii, local boy makes good. And we've had a lot of local kids, and I can say that at my age. As a great grandfather.
As a great
grandfather, I mean, I could say that at my age. So we have a lot of the young guys and girls like yourself. I keep wanting to emphasize over and over again that there's an amazing industry here and there's an amazing talent pool here. So what are your thoughts on the tech industry in Hawaii? What do you think about the tech industry in Hawaii?
So I've been trying constantly to hire more people here locally, and certainly it is true that it's difficult to hire. But I've been going to a lot of the local technology fairs and whatnot, and there's a lot of young people out there going to try out their new ideas and get them developed. We went to a coding festival. What do they call those?
Shaka Khan?
No, it wasn't that one.
One of those ones.
Yeah.
last 2 weeks ago, right?
2 weeks
Yeah,
ago,
the one
yeah.
Bert runs.
Yeah.
And you
The
with
one-
UH, the
Yeah.
red man, red hat, red
Oh,
team,
yeah,
blue
yeah,
team,
yeah.
white team. Yeah,
Why
yeah.
can't I not remember the name either?
Yeah, but you can see a lot of these, smaller companies up and coming. They're pretty scrappy. They want to go out and try new things and put together ideas and get them out on the marketplace. And so, to the extent that we can foster keeping those people here and making a home here, we really want to be able to do that.
That's one aspect of the industry that I like to talk and promote about. But the other aspect of the industry is the kind of the side things that you do. It's the non-development app side. The services piece, the infrastructure, the security. The Active Directory stuff, the VMware stuff. Hyper-V, all the different things that you can concentrate on.
Right. I mean, you have to have that kind of body of both technology talent to service those items and be able to have that infrastructure here available to build on top of.
So this leads us to the subject of today's talk is like this non-compete legislation. That nice job, by the way. You championed this thing from the very beginning. I can remember one of our first early on conversations over a libation, I might add.
It always goes better with a libation.
Yes, it
right?
does. And then,
We believe that on Hibachi Talk.
Tell us about what is this about? What prompted you to do this, and really to lead the charge?
Yeah, so I've had some experience both firsthand and secondhand of how non-compete agreements can be used by employers to basically say you cannot work in a location. But a location here in Hawaii means that you cannot work anywhere in Hawaii for up to 3 years, and that's what the state of the current law was.
So if I was in the tech industry and I wanted to go work for another company
Right.
that was in a similar type of business that I was doing,
You could potentially be barred for working for 3 years statewide.
statewide,
Yeah.
and our other industries have the same constraints on them?
Yeah, no, it's a statewide law,
Okay.
but other industries don't have the uniqueness of technology, right? So if I had a really good idea, I could just locate to California and continue to work.
Right.
And so all we're doing is driving away people, and you're not really protecting what you think you could protect with a non-compete, so it makes it kind of useless, except for driving people away from Hawaii and making Hawaii their home.
Right. So, I mean, and I've never, in my entire career, they've been there, but I've never honored a non-compete. Remember, you've never, Andrew, I don't think you've ever honored non-compete.
And no, we don't require it as a, in our hiring practices. That's not something I'm looking to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
it really, like you said, Jeff, it restricts the ability for these individuals to grow in their career. Imagine me telling someone, oh, okay, well, sorry you're leaving, but now you can't do anything in tech for 3 years.
Right. And so
Well, guess
you're
what?
going to have to go.
Career is over.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be doing the thing that we showed earlier with the guy holding up the ladder.
Yeah, my read on it was not quite that broad, though. It was sort of related to software development, or
that was the
it-
state of the law
Yeah,
before we passed the bill. And so getting and working on the bill was to kind of gather a coalition of people that saw that this would be very useful for the tech industry. And so Senator Wakai and Representative Chris Lee, both of them were big fans and supporters. So they introduced the legislation to get this thing going. And so there's only an exemption in the bill for employees of technology businesses. So that says that if you work in a technology business, and it's defined within the law basically on a revenue basis, that you should be able to work freely within the technology business, unconstrained, and by a non-compete or even a non-solicitation agreement.
Right.
So that enables mobility.
Right.
Gets you ability to grow within your career, and it puts me on my edge. But I have to provide a great environment that puts a situation where that employee can continue to grow and get better.
Right.
And so if I like that. I mean, it should be like this.
Right, and so, then you have a pool from which to draw in, right? And so what hurts us in the aggregate in Hawaii, and I'm working on this at Hawaiian and some other companies now, is we have to pull from the mainland to bring people here or train, and that's an expensive process. And then they leave, and we have this cycle going on and
Right.
on.
Right.
But certainly if we didn't have to do that and they could stay here, then we could search in the local market, and for all of us, that would be cheaper to find people that are making a home here.
Right, and I totally agree with it, because we got to get these kids to come back.
Yeah.
And they may find that working for Paxa might not be their particular
Right.
bread and butter. Oh, it could be their bread and butter, but not that concept. Because like I said before, in my company and like your company, you're a billable hour person, so you're out there having to
Right.
generate revenue. Whereas if you go work for another company, you may be just overhead. You get to do exciting new stuff,
Right.
but you don't have to worry about that constant pressure about I've got to be billable hours. I got to be billable hours. I got to be billable hours.
Right.
So, but that being said, though, it still gives you a great career
Yeah.
in the other side of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So now, what I found interesting, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that when this legislation was getting passed through, there was a lot of testimony against it from some organizations.
Sure.
But what I thought was interesting, the law firms were exempt from this law.
Yeah, there was one exemption statewide, and that's always been true, is lawyers exempted themselves from non-competes because they feel like they're providing a service that needs to be
Why am I having
provided
a hard
freely.
time understanding this?
Yeah.
So here we go. We're going to create a law that will limit your ability to grow an industry, but we're going to exempt one group from it, and that's us, the attorneys, who will also be handling the legislation when you guys start suing each other over
Exactly.
non-competes and so on. So,
And so a lot of the criticisms, right, if you take that to be true for lawyers, you find where that just kind of falls down. So some people were saying, I'm not going to invest in the training of my employees because they might go somewhere else. Lawyers invest in each other's training all the time, and certainly I don't think that that's an uncompetitive marketplace, nor did that ruin and send all of the lawyers screaming from Hawaii because
yeah,
no
I've
non-competes
noticed
here.
that you walk down the street guaranteed that
Uh-huh.
every fifth person is an attorney or works for a law firm.
Yep.
So that didn't hit them screaming away. So what do you think is going to happen? So the bill was signed.
The bill was signed, and on a go-forward basis, certainly this doesn't change everything at once, but what it does enable us to do is that we'll be able to build one person at a time because they'll be able to stay. What was very surprising when we did there was a lot of research done in this area, so it wasn't without an academic basis. So there were studies done by Stanford, MIT, the London School of Economics that said that for employee mobility in the technology industry, certainly there's a lot of cross-pollination within the industry itself when you move from place to place. Certainly you have to have the laws in place because if you create IP for somebody, they own it and you cannot steal it, right? That's
Intellectual, yeah.
it's
right.
property.
It's property, yeah.
Even though it's of an intellectual basis, but they don't own your mind forever. And that's the thing. The concepts that you learn about search or security, right?
Sure.
It's a kind of a security hole here in Hawaii to say, you can come here and work in security, but you can't work in security anywhere else.
Right.
So then all we're doing is like handicapping ourselves to be able to protect, a fairly vital piece of the infrastructure here in Hawaii. And so that was a primary driver behind, trying to get these things through.
Okay, all right, so let's just hold that thought. I got a couple more questions, but we have to pay the bills around here.
Okay.
You know what it's like. So we'll head off, pay some bills, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes here with Jeff Hong talking about
Techmania.
Techmania. I keep getting it wrong. I like Techmania.
Ah.
Techmania and
Some people say Tech Mama. That's
Techmania and all of his efforts on this non-compete that he helped to get passed. So we'll be back in a minute.
Okay, I'm Jay Fidel, that's Ray Starling. We co-host a show called Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, every Wednesday, 4 to 5 p.m. It's really interesting. Ray has a way of unzipping these guys. He asks them these questions and all this stuff tumbles out, and we find out stuff we would never know about without Ray's questions. Thank you, Ray.
You're welcome, Jay. I'm very pleased to be your Ed McMahon every Wednesday at 4 o'clock here on the internet. So you can join us and see what's happening in the energy world, and there is a lot going on. So join us every Wednesday at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, come around, be energized, right here on ThinkTech. Aloha.
Aloha, how you doing? Welcome back to ThinkTech Hawaii and Hibachi Talk. I'm Gordo the Tech Czar. I'm here with Andrew, my co-host, and the security guy, and we're here with Jeff Hong from Techmania, local IT company, and the champion of I'm calling you the champion of the non-compete legislation that got passed, and how that's really going to help us in this industry. So we've talked about the legislation's passed. Now we've got the ability to make everybody more mobile.
Right.
Do you think there's going to be any backlash from any of this thing, or do you think it'll just kind of
I think it's just going to quietly move forward, and we'll see how it affects things. And the thing is, it's going to be subtle, right? It's hard to know the people that didn't leave.
Yes.
But people will be able to stay. And in fact, as we negotiate contracts forward, we can say, this is the way it is. There's no reason to put a non-compete in any of these contracts because they're unenforceable.
Right.
And will be much more like California where people move back and forth. This effort is going on, a similar effort was going on in Massachusetts. And it's going on again in their legislature, and they're kind of looking to us as a success to see how they can move forward with it.
As a leader in it. So again, it's these simple things we talk about. You want to grow an industry. The tech industry is the one that we obviously are very passionate about. And these little tiny steps, and they're not tiny, but we're chipping away at.
Right.
So I'm interested to know who was using these, because I hadn't come across, at least in my sector.
I have not. They're there, but I've not really enforced them. Brian Malasek, who's been on our show, he didn't either. Well, I should know. I stole his guys. So no, I never stole his guys. They came over.
They came over willingly, without a non-compete.
Without a non-compete. So,
but I'm just wondering who had these. Where were you finding it at?
There's quite a few.
Is it?
In the in Hawaii in general, and in a few industries. There was a guy who testified in opposition from PR Tech, and they said that they needed these things and that their employees loved non-competes, and because it made their business better.
Interesting.
Okay.
So are these like staffing firms, or are they IT companies
this
that
is
are
a guy that has his own kind of technology
services?
It's a PR firm.
Okay.
And so He said that his employees loved it. Although I would say none of his employees came to testify, only he, the owner, said that his employees
Oh,
loved
interesting.
it. So,
there's some of it out there anyway, so that's, it's
Yeah,
just interesting to know.
I've been given some interesting discussions, and people were surprised at my position on it in favor of it, because we're a largest tech company.
I think so.
But again, I'm back to it's about the industry and about the opportunity, and if I can't provide that opportunity to someone with my company, and they have a chance to go down the street to another company and further their career, I'm all for it, because it comes back around.
Right.
In this town, it comes back around, and on an upside.
well, and so in both Massachusetts and here, the venture capital companies are all for this type of legislation. Why? Because the resource that a venture capital company mines is technology industry expertise.
Right.
And if you are drilling for oil, why would you only allow one drill from one company and bet all your money? You want to bet on the geography of Texas or Alaska or whatever, and allow multiple people to drill in that area and bet on the industry rather than betting on a single horse, a single drill, a single company. And so that's why
Good point.
the venture capital companies were all strongly coming out for this type of legislation. And these are people putting their money where their mouth is, literally,
Right.
for an industry investment in technology. And if we want to grow that, we should probably follow the advice of people that are spending the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the VC, I didn't think about them. If you're looking at from that perspective, you want development to happen freely.
Right.
Really, because
And-
that's a hindrance to, or you're going to take your money where it can develop. You don't want it inhibited in any way
Right.
possible.
Yeah, and you
so
just
that makes a
nailed it.
lot of sense.
You just nailed it. You're going to take
Sure.
the money where
Where you
it
can-
is, and guess what? If you're making it more restrictive here in Hawaii, then guess what? Your money's, and you've got some ones with great idea and great product, but they're seeing this limitation that's happening here. Then they're going
Right, you'd want to invest in 3 companies in a similar technology. And in Hawaii, people are moving back and forth. It's the same kind of people, so you want to invest in them. You don't want them to leave after their one great idea, because it might be their third great
Because
idea.
then they can't, because they can't work.
Exactly.
That's I could see the limitation there.
and that's very true, because we think Hoala, and Hoala Greavy, and I think you know Hoala. I don't know if you
No,
know
I don't.
Hoala. But Hoala, he's developed a number of apps, and he's got one now that's got some really good legs. But he literally had to go from here. He local boy, but he's now in California
To get VC interest.
Because VC interest, because there's more VC interest over there.
Right.
But could you just imagine if we could get the word out to the VCs that Hawaii has got a huge opportunity for us to put money here.
And that's one of the things, right? This technology bill says to the world, Hawaii is investing and making moves to welcome the technology industry here, right? And we didn't protect every industry. We said technology because we feel that it's an important industry in the state.
And so it's awesome. And we go back to the fact that we've been saying since we started the show, the tech industry in Hawaii is large. They say it's small, but if you take your company, my company, and then everybody that's running tech within their own businesses,
Right.
we've got a huge tech industry in this town. And what an opportunity we can have to have these kids come back home and the like.
Yeah, so the website at Hawaiian Airlines, over 100, almost 200 people, technology people work on it. I'm like,
Awesome.
wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
Not that many employees.
Wow.
So, because they had to bring in talent from other places in order to get the engineering done.
Good deal.
But let's try to change that. Let's go out there and find people for jobs that will stay here.
That will stay here.
Attract people to make sure that they can have a place and a home to come to.
This is awesome.
But
This
they
is
don't want it
awesome.
to be the only place.
Well, you're not going to believe this. We burned up a perfectly good lunch hour.
All right.
Once again, 45 minutes is right out there. Jeff, we really want to thank you for
Okay.
being here. Now, we go way over and above the call. You got to get an autographed solo cup from
that's
Hibachi
awesome.
Talk. I mean, these are rare. This will be number 25
Okay.
of 25.
But you can't put it on a hibachi.
No, okay, not a good idea.
Okay.
But you can take it with you when you're having a libation at the hibachi.
Okay,
So
very good.
You'll be there in that. So you get this autographed solo cup when you're enjoying the next one, and I'll buy you the next one.
Okay.
But we want to thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having
joining
me.
us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate it.
We want to thank you for watching us on ThinkTech. You can follow us again on YouTube if you just search on Hibachi Talk. I want to thank Nick and Zuri for helping us get through this again, and to the security guy for staying awake through the whole show. It's pretty amazing. Anyway, just want to remember everybody just to have a good time out there, and how you doing?